What is good, guys? It's yours truly, Danny Explosion, back here today, bringing you guys another album review today. Today, we are going to review an awesome album that got released a little over a week ago that I managed to pick up finally and listen to it. This will be the review of the new Abbath album that just got released, probably like a week and a couple days ago. So, yeah, let's get into it. What you need to know about it is, this is a Abbath solo project that he started ever since he split up with Immortal. Well, he departed from Immortal due to band tensions, but Abbath Doom Occulta is back, bringing us this album right here. And this is like the first black metal album he did in almost 6 years, so I was really excited to listen to this album. What you need to know about it is that the lineup is Abbath Doom Occulta on vocals and guitars, Creature, also known as Kevin Foley, on drums, King of Hell on bass. The release date was January 22nd, 2016, and the label that this was off of was Season Mist. There's a total of 10 tracks on here, and clocking in about 14 minutes and 16 seconds. So, yeah. Gonna go track for track right now. First track, To War. An excellent opening track of just awesome, not too polished black metal because, Abbath is one of the most well-known frontmen for black metal, so with well-known notoriety, your album is gonna be kind of polished, but that's okay. But this is an excellent opening track with melodic but yet simplistic guitar riffs and killer drum and bass work that remind people so much of when Abbath was in Immortal that it was just an awesome fucking track. I give it a 5 out of 5 all the way. To War was awesome. The second track, Winterbane. This is the longest track that's on here. This track about like 6 minutes. A fast and also mid-tempo track with a dark melodic atmosphere set by the bass and the guitars. But even though it's long, this does not bore you one bit in case you're strapped in for the whole ride. And I really enjoyed this track, and I give Winterbane a 4 out of 5. Third track, another one of my favorite tracks off this album, is Ashes of the Damned. A fast-paced track with a lot of intensity. They add an orchestral sample for like a second or two, and that just added a way more intensity to that track that I just really, really enjoyed. It's just got blistering blast beats, Abbath's signature raspy, growling vocals that just add the whole intensity to this album that I really, really enjoy. But this track was so fucking catchy and just an awesome chorus, so giving this track a 5 out of 5. Awesome track. Track number 4, Ocean of Wounds. A catchy and mid-tempo track with a very, very powerful chorus that I really, really enjoyed in this track. I give that track a 4.5 out of 5. Number 5, Count the Dead. This was another really, really catchy song with like a nice natural harmonic riff added by Abbath that I really, really enjoyed too. And midway through, because it was mid-tempo, kind of in beginning of the track, but midway through, it just gets a little bit more faster and more faster paced with blast beats and all that. This album has a lot of blast beats. I'm just gonna say that. And just this was another really awesome track they released for this album, so I'll give Count the Dead a 4 out of 5. And probably my favorite track off this album is Fenrir Hunts, a very, very intense track that just reminds me so much of old Immortal. Just D beat and blast beat drumming, really catchy and fast-paced riffs with just very deep bass. What more could you want? 5 out of 5 all the way for Fenrir Hunts. Track number 7, Root of the Mountain. This is one of the more slower paced tracks on this album, but it's still a really catchy, awesome song. And the tempo changes in this song really add variety to the song structure, which I really enjoy on this track. So I give Root of the Mountain a 4.5 out of 5. And technically the album closer, Endless. This was a very powerful track with a lot of energy, with just blasting riffs and blistering blast beats that just hits you right in the face just to end this album off. And it's still, for the intensity of this track, it still adds a little bit of melody in the guitar work in this track that I really love. So I give Endless also a 5 out of 5. Kind of a hidden track on this album, Riding on the Wind, which is a Judas Priest cover. Riding on the Wind was off of Judas Priest's Screaming for Vengeance, which is classic. This was an awesome cover for like a really awesome legendary track off of Screaming for Vengeance, and it just added a really nice blackened touch to it. That nice blackened touch, but still didn't really take out like all the traditional elements that this song has had. So really enjoyed this cover that they did a good job on this cover. I give it a 4.25 out of 5. And the last track, which is technically the bonus track for this album, Nebular Raven's Winter. It was a very neat bonus track, if I can say the least. The guitar work on this album just sets a really cold atmosphere, and just variety. The tempo changes, the riffs are very catchy, and the drum work was just excellent on this track. So I'll give this Nebular Raven's Winter a 4 out of 5. I was really excited for this release, and being that Immortal is one of my favorite black metal bands, I couldn't wait to see what Abbath had to offer. I mean, after listening to this album countless times, I just never got bored of it. It was such a good, really well put together album. For a black metal album, no, but it's not really too overpolished. Some people might consider this album kind of overpolished, but so what are you gonna do? I still had a fucking blast listening to this. And one thing I want to notice about this album is the lyrics rhyme a lot on this album, which is a really good element to have to make songs more catchy. Like, hold on, there's a lot of rhymes on this thing. A good example would be from Count the Dead, Grimshard Lord of Northern Reach, heed the dread hell can teach. Despair in halls of burning keep, taste the tears kinfolk weep. See the twilight realm you rule, land of flame, flesh our fuel. Just something off Root of the Mountain. To glorious carnage armies were fled. Leech to thrombosis, nations were bled. See, like, stuff like that makes the album way more catchy. And it just sticks to your head a lot more, and that's what I really enjoyed about this album. Like, literally almost, like, just about every single track on this album rhymed, had like some sort of rhyme scheme to it that I just loved. I just fucking loved it. But this was just a fucking killer release for this year so far. This is by far my favorite release of this year. And this album was a great way to kick off the 2016 year with this great release right here. I've listened to this album over and over, and fuck, man, I cannot get enough of this. This is like what one of my friends said when we were talking about this, Immortal 2.0. This is basically what it is. Because this just reminds me of like so much of an Immortal album. I just really enjoy it. Tracks like Fenrir Hunts, To War, Winterbane, tracks like that, those remind you so much of like old Immortal. It's just, man, this was just a killer album. Cannot wait for more material from Abbath in the future, and that's why I give this album a 90.5 out of 100. Thanks, you guys. Thank you for watching. This was my review of the new Abbath album. Another really killer 2016 release, 90.5 out of 100. If you haven't you haven't looked into it, I definitely recommend checking this out. If you really like it, like what you hear, pick up a copy, support these guys. And that was Danny Explosion. Like, comment, subscribe if you want. And as always, cheers, stay metal.